Okay, good morning. On behalf of NASCAR, I want to welcome everyone here to Dover International Speedway for our triple header weekend here at the Monster Mile. We look forward to being here with you all this weekend, and please don't hesitate to let us know if we can be of service to make your stay bigger and better here at Dover this weekend. Gary Camp and his staff certainly have done a super job getting prepared, and we appreciate everyone being in attendance this weekend. We're going to start our media availability here today with Brendan Gaughan in the NASCAR Xfinity Series. Brendan drives the number 62 South Point Chevrolet for Richard Childress Racing. And Brendan, talk about coming to Dover, the unique challenge that it presents, and also let's talk a little bit about that Dash for Cash, because I think that's a super initiative that the sport has, and also the opportunity that it presents for a driver like yourself.
Well, first of all, Dover is really one of the most unique tracks on the circuit. When people ask you, what's your favorite racetrack? As a race car driver, that's one of the most amusing questions you get, because really you don't have a favorite. You know, a lot of guys, I know I have one I dislike, but there's a lot of them that I like. But there is one, and it's Dover, that is, there's no way to test for it. There's no way to practice for it. There's no way to tell somebody. When I tell everybody about going into turn one, it's really amusing to me. I remember being here my first time and having the late Bobby Hamilton. I was slow as sin, and I could not. I thought I was doing things right, and I'm asking Bobby what to do, and he tells me to go over the jump in turn one and drive off the 3-story building with the throttle on the ground. And I told Shane to heat up the backup car because I'm going to try it. I don't think it's going to work. I think Bobby's trying to hurt me. And son of a bitch, it didn't work. I mean, it stuck in a way. I go, oh my God. So it's this track is the only place. The word a lot of us use is a roller coaster. It's the only place that you'll lose your stomach. It's the only place that I've ever been told to breathe. My spotter has actually had to tell me to stop holding my breath. It's such a fun place to race. The Monster is a great moniker for this place. You know, the way they've played into their style, it's really, really cool. And it's just fun to be here. Unfortunately, sometimes we get cursed with a little bit of, spring rain in the eastern seaboard. But it's a great place to race. Love being here. Love that we actually come here twice. If there's a track that it's kind of an innocuous track to come to twice, but I'll tell you what, man, this place is so much fun to be at. It gives you such a different break in the schedule. And then Dash for Cash race. Last year, this was a Dash for Cash qualifier, and we ended up being a qualifier from this race. So that bodes well for us for the Xfinity Dash for Cash. So far, the heat race idea, like I said, sometimes NASCAR gets a little mad at me. So far, the heat race has been a little, it hasn't been our best theory so far, but this is going to be the first race on a bigger track. You know, Dover could lend itself to a different style heat race, which I'm definitely hoping it does. I'm hoping for some positive results on the heat race side, and I'm hoping that we are one of those two guys that qualifies for the Dash on the heat race side, and then go out there and thrash in that race. I mean, winning it's one thing, but if you're a Dash for Cash qualifier, you know, it's Eric Jones did it right. What was it, Richmond? I mean, won Bristol won the Dash for Cash, won the race. You know, you can't knock any more of a home run than that. So I would definitely love to match that, but you don't have to win it if you're a Dash for Cash guy. All you got to do is be the first guy in the Dash for Cash. That's right, and you also have to remember, too, the new format in the Dash for Cash. If you would happen to be the Dash for Cash winner here tomorrow at Dover. You lock yourself in. And then, then you would go to Indianapolis and then also be the Dash for Cash winner. You get 2 Dash for Cash victories. That's 2 of them. And you become a chase-eligible driver. So keep that in mind as well. We'll take questions now from our media. If you have one, raise your hand. We have a couple of wireless mics, Tina and Susan. Let's go all the way back in the back. If you would state your name and affiliation, please. Go ahead.
Mike Hembry, USA Today. Brendan,
USA Today?
Yes.
Is that new?
No. Is South Point new? No. Okay. How or has the the chase format changed the racing much, you think, so far?
I don't think it's changed the racing as far as the racing goes. It's definitely changed a lot of our crew chiefs and our mindsets, though. It definitely has the team way more pumped up because we know that, like last year, we talked about it at the end of last year, we were stuck in 7th place in points. Might be able to get the 6th, might be able to fall to 8th, but we were stuck in that 7th place. Now you have something to battle for all year when you get to this rough spot in the summer where everybody kind of settles in their point spot and you know there's not a lot to gain or lose. It's going to keep those teams pumped up. It has changed how we approached a race like Texas a couple weeks ago. The 62 South Point Chevy has always been pretty good at Texas. We were not as good as we've been in the past at Texas. We were trying some stuff. We went there with some stuff to experiment with because we know that in the chase is a Texas race that's going to be a lot more important. So we have been experimenting a little. I am sure that Eric Jones, who's the only, and Elliott Sadler now, who are the only 2 drivers locked in, are going to be able to fire away and try a few things here or there to see if they can, this is a race in the chase. So right now, if I'm Elliott Sadler and his crew chief, they're going to try something for here to see if they can be better that they may not have necessarily tried had this just been a regular Dover race. So it's changed our approach to our setups sometimes. It definitely keeps the team more pumped up. All the guys have been really excited. We're sitting 5th in points, 3 points out of 3rd. We're looking good to make a top 12 points one if we don't win. So the guys are really pumped knowing that, hey, when September, October rolls around, we look like we're going to be one of those teams that's in, and we're going to be prepared and ready with maybe some different stuff that we would not have tried because we might be throwing a few errant missiles here and there trying things.
Very good points you make there. Go ahead. Who's up next? Lee?
Lee Spencer, Motorsport.com. RC said the other day he thinks that the company has turned a corner performance-wise. Do you feel that that's the case?
Richard, it's two shops at our place. It's the Cup side and the Xfinity side. These cars now are more similar than they've been ever in the history of NASCAR. That NASCAR has migrated them very together. There are some differences in bodies and things and some differences because of splitter height rules, but they're very similar. If you look at the performance of the 3 team and the 27 team and the 31 team as a whole, the 3 teams doing fantastic this year. The 31 and the 27 have been better, except for a few, like Paul last week had a motor blow or something like that. So I mean, they've been doing much better on the Cup side. That does equate to Xfinity. But about a month ago, you saw Richard say he was not happy with our Xfinity performance, and he actually made the shop. We did some stuff and changed the chassis. We changed the clip design for the Xfinity cars. So Richard, on the Xfinity side, has always been able to say, I want that changed, and performance gets better. And we're in the middle of that right now. We do all 4 teams do have these new clips. Richard was serious. When Richard gets serious about stuff, he's always serious. But when he says flat out, I want something, it's amazing how quickly things get done. And the Xfinity side, we're in the middle of that, and it's been showing much better returns. And I'm really proud of watching the Cup side. I mean, the 3 team is going to win a race, man. They are dang close to winning each and every week on that Cup side. And I see Austin getting one here pretty soon, and that'll be a big boon for RCR.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Tyler Burnett, MRN. You just mentioned you thought Austin was going to win a race. What's changed in Austin that you've seen, either off the track or on the track? What's changed?
Nothing's changed in Austin. This is a kid he might be the first guy that is a threat to be your only 3 National Series champion. I mean, this guy, he won the Truck Series championship. He won the Xfinity Series championship. And he's moving his way, ticking his way up to being a Sprint Cup winner, and I do believe he'll be there. Right now he's in a chase spot, and to be a chase spot, you got a shot if you're in the chase. So, I mean, I think right now the biggest threat in the sport to be the first guy to win all 3 National Series championships is Austin Dillon. I mean, there's only, Greg Biffle and him are the only 2 actually right now that could do it. Yeah. And it's nothing's changed in the kid. I mean, he's been a hell of a race car driver since he was dang near 18 years old. I mean, he's the only guy that just rolled through the series, and he knew the pressure of the 3. He understood it, And did it take longer, of course, than he wanted? Of course, that kid wants to win right now. But he is in the process of building a great, mantra for himself. He's in the middle of putting this thing together and really doing well with it. So I don't think anything's changed in him. He's not kicking himself for not being better. He's not putting too much pressure on himself. He has the pressure already, and he's building his deal.
Let's go right down the row there, Susan, to Kelly.
Kelly Crandall from PopularSpeed.com. Brendan, you talked about the chase and being a different mindset for the crew chiefs, but what about as a driver? Because you've competed for truck championships, you've been here for a couple years, and it's always been about points, keeping an eye on, trying to salvage the good days. So now with, the crew chiefs wanting to try something and not really having to worry about points as much, is that different for you behind the wheel?
Is it different? A little bit. It's not a big difference. It does help us with things. I think the big key to us is having Mike Bagley in the radio booth to play Peanut Gallery, because that definitely makes things exciting for us when we come to Dover. It's home for him. So for us, we've come here and experimented in the past on things because we were stuck in points. So you had nothing to lose at that point. But the mentality was, we have nothing to lose, let's try it, and get a W. Now it's, hey, we have a race that's in the chase in 7 months here. Let's try something that may work out really well. Or we think we have something that, we think this is what we need. We're going to try it now. The mentality has changed for me as a driver is, right now we're in the heat of a great points battle. If this is any other year, you're like, all right, I'm 3 points out of third. But I'm still 35 points out of the lead. 35 points in this point system, dang near impossible to make up. It is really tough to make up 35 points. It's the way the points are with 1 point per. That's a lot of. So really, you're looking at it going, man, we're 35 points out. Let's keep on battling and chugging. But really, you're just trying to get for that third place spot right now. We don't have that attitude anymore. We now know that when it rolls around to September, October, it's 0. So do what we have to do. So I have a different mindset, absolutely. I'm definitely keeping that in mind that I can take a few more chances on the racetrack and not look what I did at Richmond. Remember, I've been laughing about my Richmond deal. I hate Richmond. I go to Richmond and finish 7th this year. I mean, it's like, holy cow, how'd I do that? But we went with a different attitude, a different approach, and it worked out well for us. I can go to the next Richmond and take a vacation if I want. So it's not in the chase for us. So it's definitely changed the drivers' mindsets, yes.
Other questions for Brendan Gaughan? Anybody else?
Mike Bagley, any questions? Bagley?
He's at a break.
He's busy again.
Brendan, thanks for coming in.
Thank you, guys.
Good luck this weekend at Dover, and appreciate it.